when Democrats took control of the legislature to work with Governor Dayton, the state had no cash flow account. It was zero. The state had no budget reserve. We owed our schools about $2 billion. And Paul Thiessen and I and our caucuses took over the legislature.
Minnesota Management and Budget Commissioner Myron Franz says the Republican bills push significant costs into the future. They cut vital services and oversell supposed savings.
His number one priority in this session was fiscal responsibility. Shifting problems from one area to another, delaying payments, that's not fiscally responsible.
But we play games in here all the time. So let's not get too crazy about who's better and who's not doing something, because this is how this stuff works.
It's pretty amazing when you think about how many line items and how many little buckets we have to serve people, and how each one of those little line items, each one of those little buckets has an impact on some Minnesotans' life.
And when those teachers get those pink slips this spring, there's no worse day in the schools than the day when this person you've been working side by side with all year was told, we just don't have money for you next year.
And these are things you do when you have a deficit. And we had that all through the years with Plenty, where you just had to cut because everybody had to share the pain.
As an army of DHS workers, many of whom will be losing their jobs, but we want to thank you. It's been good to have you around.
A $900 million tax cut. A supposed budget of $1.6 billion.
That's a big chunk of money. That's a big chunk of money that we could wisely use.
This is serious. This is very serious.
This is beginning to look like kind of a fiscal disaster.
2 years from now, 4 years from now, the economy, the national economy changes. If as the feds evolve onto the states, additional costs of health care, future legislators and governors are going to go right into that crunch.
There's shifts, and with all due respect, there's gimmicks.
And as I look at the hundreds of millions of dollars that are being diverted from the general fund, I cannot help but think of the Minnesotans who will be affected by that too.
If you're going to do that with general fund, don't call it a plan, because the next legislature is going to come here with different priorities.
That is money that could be going into our schools, and instead that's not where they're planning to send it. They'd rather make those tax deductions available for wealthy individuals and corporations.
The budget bills reflect your priorities and your values.